Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to school and to another semester of Game Time Situation. I'm Travis Apple, and he's Brian Vale, and we're ready to bring you up to date on all Ashland athletics.
That's right, folks. Once again, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. We hope that everyone had a great winter break.
Vale, why don't we tell them what their late holiday present will be?
Okay. How about you do that, actually, Travis, because I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
That's because you never read over the script before we go on air. Anyways, folks, a late present for you loyal fans is what they will take the next half hour and show you footage, give you up-to-date stats, and much more about all of the Ashland University winter sports teams.
That's right, and along with that, Chip Whipple will be back, and he will bring another athlete under the Game Time spotlight.
Well, like we said before, we only have a half hour, so we might as well get started.
Let's do it 95 style. It's game time.
Boom! Now, the AU men's basketball team played pretty well over break. While we were relaxing or doing whatever, the men's team was hard at work representing the university. Over break, the Eagles went 5-2. Now, just several days after we returned, the Eagles hosted Northwood in a GLIAC matchup. Now, I'm just going to get a short thing started that I'm sure both myself and Brian will come back to a lot in this first segment, and that is the AU men play extremely great, very well at home. Well, Ashland played good, and with just over a minute left in regulation, senior and former Game Time Spotlight participant Greg Emmons drilled a three from the top of the key to give AU a lead, and they never looked back as they went on to win 85-77. Emmons finished with 19 points, including 4 of 6 from behind the three-point line. Senior Vaughn Knight led AU with 21 points, including 8 for 8 from the charity stripe, and Brett Bartlett and Rob McCray had 15 and 13 points respectively. Now, Brian, could the men's team improve on their 3-game winning streak and their home winning streak?
After that close win, AU looked to stay unbeaten at Cates Gym when they faced Saginaw Valley on January 20th. Saginaw played tough in the first half, taking a 1-point lead into the break. In the second half, however, it was all Eagles. Ashland shot 64.3% from the floor in the second half, while holding Saginaw to 33.3% shooting. 4 Eagles scored in double figures as AU won 79-68. Senior Rob McCray had 18 points and 10 rebounds. Greg Emmons scored 17 points and grabbed 6 rebounds. And Brett Bartlett had 12, 13 Baker's dozen points and 7 rebounds for AU. With the momentum from a strong homestand, Ashland began a 4-game road trip at Ferris State. How did Ashland perform up north, Trav?
Well, like Brian said, the Eagles are very good at home but seem to struggle on the road. However, a weaker Ferris State team could help turn the Eagles around. But the Bulldogs of Ferris State came ready to protect their home court. After being tied at halftime, Ferris State was up 77-67 with just under 5 minutes to play, but Ashland battled back and had the chance to tie it at the end of regulation. However, Vaughn Knight's 3-point attempt rimmed in and out, and the Bulldogs escaped with an 81-78 victory. Bartlett led the Eagles with 21 points as he connected on 4 three-pointers. Emmons notched his 12th double-double of the season as he had 20 points and 13 rebounds. Knight had 17 points. After the tough, close loss, AU had to travel to powerhouse Grand Valley State. How did that fare, Brian?
Grand Valley entered on a 12-game winning streak, ranked 8th in the nation, winning 27 games a season ago. The Lakers lived up to their billing, clobbering AU 79-38. Ashland shot 22.4% from the field, while Grand Valley shot 62.5% on the day. Sophomore Tyler Rosenberger scored 8 points to lead the Eagles, who were held to their lowest output of the season. I've lost the ability to speak. With the losses, Ashland dropped to 14-8 overall, 6-6 in the league, and now AU travels to Wayne State and Hillsdale this weekend.
Right, with the 2 consecutive losses, like you said, they fell to 14-8, but hey, still there.
In the mix for the GLIAC postseason tournament.
Yes. They'll next travel to Hillsdale and Wayne State this weekend. Well, folks, we're just getting started, but myself and Brian really didn't do too much conditioning over break, so we're going to take a quick timeout, but don't go too far. The Game Time Spotlight is coming up.
Hi, Mr. President. My parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
Not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president. but it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
You're a good driver, a careful driver, and you don't stand a chance. Not at a railroad crossing with bad sight lines and no lights or gates, where vegetation, buildings, or hills block your view, where you can't see the train and you only have seconds before it hits your safe, careful self and you die. Go to angelsontrack.org to report dangerous crossings, because careful is just no match for a 200-ton locomotive.
Kids, how do we take care of our teeth?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day. If you want healthy teeth, do this every day. Brush your teeth.
Fight tooth decay.
Floss your teeth.
Don't forget regular dental checkups, okay?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day.
Ashland Theological Seminary, transforming the world.
One pastor.
One counselor.
One city.
One campus.
One village.
One family.
One teacher.
One crisis. One missionary.
One shelter.
One church. Transforming the world, one student at a time.
Welcome back. Now, Brian and I are both replenished and refreshed, so I hope you guys are too. Now, much like the men's basketball team, the women were also pretty busy over break. The women weren't as fortunate over break as they went 3-5. Also, much like the men, the women hosted two GLIAC opponents several weeks ago. As first, they hosted Northwood. Entering the game, AU had lost 2 consecutive games and 5 straight at Cates Gymnasium. However, the youngsters came out to play, and the Eagles were able to earn a 72-63 win. Sophomore Alethea Lamberson had a big game. She had 18 points and 4 steals, including 17 points in the second half. Freshman Lacey Romine had 19 points and 3 assists in the game. Sophomore Betsy Morrison had 10 points and 6 rebounds. Senior Catherine Porterata had 10 points, and sophomore Jessica Minch brought down 9 rebounds. How did the women do against Saginaw, Brian?
After the balanced performance in the win over Northwood, Ashland used their normal routine against Saginaw Valley State. Senior Amber Rawl scored 25 points to lead the way for the Lady Eagles in a 76-61 home win. Rawl scored 18 points in the second half, while Porterata added 15 on the day. She also had 10 rebounds. Lacey Romine had 10 points and 7 assists to lead the Eagles in that category. And the Eagle defense had a stellar day, holding Saginaw to 35.3% shooting from the field. The wins righted the ship at home. Could the Eagles get the road game going as well, Travis?
Well, once again, the same road trip occurred for the women as the men had as they first played at Ferris State. Well, it appeared the women sat on the bus a little too long as they came out playing very sluggish. They were down 44-30 at half and went on to lose 91-79. However, the Eagles did produce several highlights as Porterata notched her 1,000th career point as she scored 12 points and became the 12th player in school history to reach that feat. Rawl led the way with 31 points as she connected on 3 three-pointers. Romine had 14 points and 3 steals. Lamberson had 11 points, and Morrison pulled down 7 missed shots. Da-da-da! And the next game was at Grand Valley State, and once again, the Lakers were a powerhouse team. Could the Eagles pull off an upset?
A visit to the defending national champions gym always has trouble involved, but Ashland came to Allendale ready to play. After falling behind 12-0, the Lady Eagles crawled back to stay in the game, down just 6 at halftime. In the second half, though, the Lakers had too much, hitting 14 of 19 shots from the floor in the final 20 minutes, as the Lakers won 94-61, the largest margin of defeat this season for AU. The last 4 times Ashland and Grand Valley have met in women's basketball now, the Lakers have won by an average of 25 points.
The Lakers, they're pretty good. Grand Valley's just a very good team in all the sports.
Yes, they are.
So, well, the Lady Eagles are now 10-11 overall and 4-8 in the GLIAC. They will next take the same road trip to Hillsdale and Wayne State like the men this weekend. Now, several games ago, senior forward Catherine Porterata scored her 1,000th career point. However, I didn't know if she has ever went up against a dominating force in the paint like the one Chip Whipple. That's right, folks. Chip Whipple has got Catherine Porterata under the game time spotlight. Take it away, Chip.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I'm Chip Whipple, and I'm here with AU Women's Senior Forward, Catherine Porterata. Thanks for being here, Catherine.
Thanks.
Are you ready?
Yes.
First off, the team's struggled a bit this season. They're 10-11 overall, 4-8 in the GLIAC. Why do you think the team has had such a difficult season so far?
I don't know. Half our team's new players, and a lot of our talent's coming from those new players, and they're logging a lot of minutes. So I think we're just having some difficulty taking all the different talents we have and meshing it together as a whole to bring out success.
Obviously, you had the early injury to Lisa. Is that played a factor, you think,
I
as
think
well?
She played a major role in like every aspect of the game: steals, rebounds, scoring. So it's definitely a loss that we took early on.
Previous seasons, the last couple years, you guys have dominated the home floor. You've maybe lost 1 or 2 games a year each year at Cates Gymnasium. And this year, it's been inconsistent. You win a couple, and then you lose a couple. Is there anything specifically going on with that, or do you just think it's the team overall?
I think, well, we're bringing in a lot of the good teams are coming to our home court to play, so every game's a struggle, but also not having the fans there hurts too.
It has been a little empty in Cates Gymnasium this year. Right now, the team's in fourth place of the GLIAC South Division. If the GLIAC playoffs started today, you guys would go to Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a team, do you look ahead to see where you're placing in the standings, or do you try to just focus on the next game?
Well, we take one game at a time, but we do look at the other teams in the South and kind of root for the one team or the other to see who's winning and who's losing. So we definitely look at rankings, and we want to definitely be in the top 4 to make sure we make it to the tournament.
Now, you personally are having a good season, 16 points per game, 8 rebounds a game. How have you able to do this on a team that's not necessarily winning all their ball games?
Well, scoring-wise, I definitely thank all my teammates. I mean, I play mostly on the block, so I don't score unless they don't give me the ball, so I get great passes by them. And I don't know, just being a senior, I just have initiative to go out and play the best basketball I can for my last year.
What are your, for the rest of the season, your personal goals for yourself, and then the team goals that you've set that you want to accomplish this season?
Well, with having about 6 or 7 games left, probably think personally, just want to play the best games I can, had the best games I ever had, and team-wise, win all of them.
Mm-hmm. You've played 3 years here at Ashland now for Coach Ramsey. What's it like to play for a coach like Sue Ramsey?
She's definitely she's a good woman. She's a great coach. She's taught me a lot, even outside of basketball, with like relationships and everything. And I know she's one person that'll always be there for me, even after I'm done playing for her.
Now, if you could sum up your entire collegiate basketball career in just a couple of words or a couple sentences, how would you describe it?
It's been a really great experience. I love basketball, but I've taken a lot out of it that I think will help me in the future in the job force and things like that. So I'm glad I did it.
And finally, what do you think, you're a senior this year, obviously, what are your plans after the season and after graduation?
I've applied to several accounting firms back in Canton, Ohio, and I've also applied to go on to grad school at Ohio State.
Okay, thanks. Catherine, you are now officially off the Game Time Spotlight. We'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Hi, Mr. President. My parents believe that eating meals together will make our country strong. Is this something that you did when you were a kid?
I did eat with my family so long as my mother wasn't cooking.
It's not good making fun of your mother, even if you are president, but it is good to have dinner with your kids. We know the more often children have dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use drugs. So simply having dinner together can help your children forever, even if you're not a great cook.
You're a good driver, a careful driver, and you don't stand a chance. Not at a railroad crossing with bad sight lines and no lights or gates, where vegetation, buildings, or hills block your view, where you can't see the train and you only have seconds before it hits your safe, careful self and you die. Go to angelsontrack.org to report dangerous crossings, because careful is just no match for a 200-ton locomotive.
Kids, how do we take care of our teeth?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day. If you want healthy teeth, do this every day. Brush your teeth.
Fight tooth decay.
Floss your teeth.
Don't forget regular dental checkups, okay?
Brush your teeth twice a day. Floss your teeth once a day.
All over America, people are taking the National Radon Test. Have you? Answer true or false. Radon is a radioactive gas.
False.
True.
It's true?
It's a natural gas?
The Office of the Surgeon General recommends all homes be tested for radon.
False. False.
True. Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer.
False.
It's true.
Oh.
Yeah, totally surprised. I never would have thought that.
I don't even know where to go to have it checked.
1-800-SOS Radon.
If I don't take care of it, nobody else will.
And once again, welcome back. Now that was our last time out of the ball game, so I hope you guys are ready. Now the swimming team, much like the basketball team, also had a pretty busy Christmas break. They even got to travel to Florida to get out of this horrible Ohio weather. Now both the men and women's teams then hosted Kenyon in our first weekend back at school. However, both teams were on the short end of the score as the Division III powerhouse came to town and defeated the men 131-106, and the AU women were defeated 153-70. For the men, Omar Fatala won the 50 freestyle and joined forces with Sean McGraw, Kevin Rapian, and Oscar Thomason to lead the field in the 200 medley relay. McGraw won the 100 freestyle and was second in the 50 freestyle, while Thomason was first in the 100 backstroke. Arthur Gaveau set the pace in the 200 freestyle, and on the women's side, Brittany Rarode won the 100 butterfly, Megan Dort finished second in the 100 breaststroke, Jenny Johnson was the runner-up in the 1,000 freestyle, and Ashley Shoup was second in the 50s freestyle. The Eagles then had a busy weekend as first they hosted Ohio Northern on Friday. How did that go, Vale?
The swim teams hosted Ohio Northern January 26, with both the men and the women winning their meets. The men won 9 events as they took the 200-yard medley relay. Todd Polak won the 1,000 freestyle. Kevin Hurley won the 200 freestyle. Chris Fetty won the 50 freestyle. Earthy Govia won the 200 IM. Oscar Thomason won the 100 butterfly. Senior Omar Fatala took first in the 100 freestyle. Jesper Madsen won the 100 backstroke. And Chris Pensnick won the 100 breaststroke. The women took first in 9 events as well. They won the 200-yard medley relay. Lizzie Wormer won the 1,000 freestyle. Ashley Shoup won the 200 freestyle. Jenny Johnson won the 200 IM and 100 backstroke. Janice McCloskey won the 100 butterfly. Kimberly Ducharme won the 100 freestyle. Sarah Samet won the 3-meter dive. And senior Megan Dort won the 100 breaststroke.
And on Saturday, it was the final home day of the regular season for the AU swimmers. However, they will host the GLIAC Championships in February. Anyways, back to live action. The Eagles dunked the visiting Gannon Knights 147-108. Was that a dunk?
Yes.
Okay. It looked like a splash, not a dunk.
Well, the splash would come up from the dunking of the Knights. The Knights been dunked with all his metal armor on and everything from Gannon. They just make a big splash. He'd be wet.
Right. Anyways, the women defeated 2 GLIAC opponents as they defeated Gannon 155-117 and beat Hillsdale 165-107. On the men's side, McGraw won the 200 freestyle. Fatala was first in the 200 butterfly and 100 butterfly, and Thomason was first in the 200 backstroke and 100 backstroke. The 400 medley relay team also won. Jesper Madsen won the 200 breaststroke, and Todd Pollock won the 500 freestyle. For the women, Dort finished first in the 100 breaststroke and 200 breaststroke, and was part of the 400 medley relay team that was first. Johnson led the field in the 200 freestyle and 200 backstroke. Shoup was the leader in the 100 freestyle and also part of the medley relay team. Lizzie Wormer was a gold medalist in the 200 butterfly. Now both the men's and women's swimming teams will swim at Wayne State this Friday.
We're going to change gears here and go from the swimming
to the
grappling. Trav's favorite, the grappling. But now we're not talking about the Undertaker here. No.
The Royal Rumble winner.
No, this is Ashland University Wrestling. The wrestling
I
team
bet they
won
could beat any of
the
those guys.
18th annual Wendy's Big Classic duels, facing Air Force, Cleveland State, and Ohio State. Against Air Force, the men performed quite well, winning 24-9. Kyle Kanaga, Tony Bradbury, David Bauman, Jordan Job, David Crowley, and Josh Ohl all won against the Academy. All wrestling in the 285-pound class is now 14-0 this season. Now, Trav, how did the Eagles fare against D1 power Cleveland State?
Well, the Eagles were defeated by Cleveland State 35-10. At 174 pounds, Justin Ferguson won by major decision over Nate Gilkey, and at 184, Matt Allen earned the only other victory for AU as he won by forfeit.
Marcus Gordon, Justin Ferguson, and Josh all picked up wins for Ashland against Ohio State, but it wasn't enough as the school from Columbus won 25-15 in the Big Wendy's Classic.
Now, after the Big Wendy's Classic opened, the Eagles traveled to Mercyhurst. It was back and forth, and the final decision came down to the last bout of the night. With a Laker win, Mercyhurst edged out AU 19-17. Mercyhurst earned a 3-1 overtime victory in the heavyweight division to give them a 19-11 lead. At the 285-pound class, Josh Ohl won by forfeit to make the score 19-11. Ashland got victories from Kyle Kanaga in the 133-pound class. At 149 by Marcus Gordon, Tony Bradbury won at the 157-pound class, and Matt Allen won at 184. The Eagles are now 7-5 and will return to action tonight with a trip to Pitt Johnstown.
Now, the men's indoor track team competed at Marietta on January 20th, beating 13 other teams. Brian Ryman won the 300-meter dash in a school record time of 35.35 seconds. Yes, it is. Robert Clank won the weight throw, and the 4x200 relay team placed first as well. The 4x400 relay team, along with the distance relay team, also won their events. On the women's side, they also won the event, beating 15 other teams in the process. Alyssa Klein won the 55-yard dash and the 400-yard dash. Joanne Douglas won the 500 dash. Marilee Albright won the 3,000-yard race. Amber Miller won the 55 hurdles. And Jenna Ord won the pole vault event. Jen Tinney took first in the shot put. Michelle Stark won the weight throw. And the 4x200 relay team won. The 4x400 relay team placed first in their event as well.
That was a big meet at Marietta for the Eagles.
Yes, it was.
Combined 29 teams. It's pretty good.
Good math.
Now on that same day, Kidway Johnson competed at the University of Kentucky, and he had a huge day. Johnson competed in the weight throw and won with a new school record and a leading NCAA Division II mark of 74-7. That's a far toss. This past weekend, the teams were in action once again. This time, they competed at the University of Findlay Classic. There were over 1,200 athletes from 8 different states and Canada. There are also schools from Division I, II, III, NAIA, and Canadian club teams. How did that go, Vale?
Well, at the Findlay Classic last weekend, the Eagles found some success against that tough competition as Jenny Pacucci won the triple jump, Jennifer Tinney won the shot put, Lisa Roth won the 800-meter run, Brian Ryman on the men's side won the 400-meter dash, Nick Glavick took first in the 1-mile run, and the 4x400 relay team won, along with Brian Vickers placing first in the shot put.
Now the men's and women's indoor track teams return to action Friday as they travel back to Findlay for the Fazoli's Open. Woo! As you can see, Ashland University winter sports teams are in full force.
They sure are, Trav, and it's always nice to be able to bring the fans up to date on winning Ashland University teams. And now we're going to talk about some winning teams on the national scale.
Little national scale. Now, this weekend, obviously a huge weekend this Sunday. Super Bowl 41. Chicago Bears, Indianapolis Colts colliding. I mean, from the beginning of the year, many people said the Bears, NFC is not that good, and it proved to be not very good.
Right.
Bears had a great defense. Their offense just need to carry them there. Well, Rex Grossman, he's got a lot of criticism. However, he has got them this far, so,
Well, these were the last 2 undefeateds in the NFL this year. They both won their first 8 games of the season, so we'll see. Well, obviously, these 2 teams started out well, and now they have a chance to end well.
Finish.
Right.
Now, first we'll talk about, what do you think commercial-wise? Think we're going to have some good fun
Well,
commercials?
the one that I heard about, there's going to be a proposal. A guy has found the money to get somebody to fund a proposal, and he will propose to his girlfriend
Wait, he
on
came
national
up with
TV.
what, like $75,000?
He came up with
and
the
other company
down
came up
payment,
with
and then
$200,000.
Yes, they came up with the extra $2.6 million, and this guy's going to propose to his girlfriend. So that could be interesting.
The only thing I understand, why tell everybody that already?
Well, it's not a guy. It's just a West Coast guy is all they've said. So it should be interesting. I'm interested to see that commercial.
That is very interesting. And obviously with the Super Bowl, all commercials, usually some funny ones. I'm looking forward to the Budweiser commercials. A couple years ago, they had the zebra under the camera case. So,
checking out the replay.
But then, we'll go back to live action. Super Bowl 41, Bears, Colts. What's your prediction?
Well, I've said all year that the AFC is the better conference, and I thought that any of those 4 teams between New England, Indianapolis, San Diego, and the other good team in the AFC, which the Colts beat. The Colts just beat the Patriots, and the Chargers, who the Colts beat the first round.
Oh,
they
boy.
The Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens. That's why I forgot about them here in Ohio.
Yeah.
So, of those 4 teams, I thought any of those 4 teams would beat anybody from the NFC, and I'm going to stick with that. Peyton Manning finally going to win a big game for once in his life. This is the year to do it, and the Colts will win pretty high-scoring game, 31-24.
So you think, obviously Peyton Manning won a big game last week versus Patriots. Everybody thought, Tom Brady, he's going to take it to the promised land. He'll win it for him. You think old Peyton Manning's going to get his finally big win here.
Yeah, he's going to do it. It's not going to be so much him, though. I think it'll be a lot of Adai and Rhodes, and Manning will just kind of be there.
Now,
and the defense will hold down the Bears' offense.
Defense,
the Bears'
Colts
offense
defense,
isn't that good.
They've been
maligned, but they've done better in the playoffs. They've held down Larry Johnson, Jamal Lewis, and Lawrence
They
Murray.
gave up a lot of 100-yard games during the regular season. Like you said, they have been getting better. Can Thomas Jones and Cedric Benson run over the defense?
No.
Now you're going to think they're going to stop, huh?
Dwight Freeney's getting huge.
I also heard something that Brian Urlacher could be an offensive threat. Colts think that he could be an offensive threat.
We'll see what they come up with.
Back in the Bears were last year with the fridge.
Right, the extra bye week here. We'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do.
Travis, I went with the Colts. What do you
Colts.
What do you got?
I never agree with you, obviously. So I'm going to go with the Bears. Like I said, obviously the Bears have been a very good team all year. I'm a Vikings fan, so in the same division, same conference. That's a little reason. I like to say, hey, Vikings, they got beat twice this year by the Super Bowl champs. But I think the Bears, their defense, I just don't think Peyton Manning's going to, be able to throw all over them, like you said. But, yeah, they do have a die and everything else. However, I don't think the Colts defense is as good as it has been the last couple weeks. I think they're going to that week off is going to hurt them.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bears 34-28, another kind of high-scoring game, but a close game. I think it's going to come down and old Sexy Rexy, he's going to get the Bears a win. I think he's going to get the Bears a win.
We'll see what happens. So should be a good time. Sunday. I don't know if anybody's heard about it. It's kind of underground.
Yeah.
This Super Sunday thing. So we'll see if you hear about it.
I just heard that there's a football
Is it on television?
I don't know. You might have to check your local listings.
I'll have to look at that.
One other national thing, we're about halfway through, almost All-Star break for the NBA. Right now, give me your 2 picks to be in the finals, NBA finals, and maybe your midseason MVP.
All right, you're asking a lot of me here, but I'll man up here, and I'll go with the Phoenix Suns. Always been a fan of them with Nash and Boris and Amari and Raja Bell throwing the Matrix over there, and then a good coach in Mike D'Antoni. So I'll take the Suns. They've been hot. They did get beat last night, but I'll take the Suns out of the West. They have those 2 long winning streaks. I think they'll have enough to get by Dallas and get into the NBA Finals. And then in the East, I'm going to get bold and go with the Washington Wizards.
Really?
Going with the Wizards. Anton Jameson going to have enough to get through the East with those other big guys like Detroit's got and Miami. If those guys are healthy, he can beat them, and Cleveland doesn't have any post threats. So I think Washington will sneak through, and of course they are led by Agent Zero, who ironically is my midseason MVP pick, Gilbert Arenas, one of my favorite players in the league, and certainly doing very well. He's averaging over 29 points a game. He's their point guard, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He does it all, gets the steals, gets the threes, gets to the line, and leads the Wizards. And look out when they play Portland next here this month. He'll score 50. He said it. So
yeah, he did say that. Mm-hmm. Well, just real briefly, I'm going to go with the Suns. 2 huge win streaks. They just got snapped by the Timberwolves yesterday. 17-game winning streak. That's pretty good. And they've had 2, it was 15 and 17.
Yes, right.
2 very good winning streaks. And then I'm going to have to go, I'm a loyal fan of the Detroit Pistons. Now that they got C. Webb, the hometown native, I think he's going to bring them back to the finals. It's going to be a good finals, I think. But regardless, I think both the East and the West, they're going to have some good playoffs back and forth. And my midseason MVP is going to have to be Steve Nash. I mean, he brought the Suns. He's won the last 2 years okay. I can see him winning the 3rd year in a row. He's had a
very good year.
So he's having a very good year, helping that team to obviously those 2 win streaks. Well, anyways, I guess it's that time again, but man, it feels good to be back.
Yes, it does. I was getting pretty bored over break, but now I've gotten my appetite back up.
Good. And for all those out there, if for some reason you do get bored, why don't you just check out the sports schedules and go support your fellow classmates as they compete in D2 athletics?
Well, once again, it seems like we're taking forever just to say goodbye, Travis.
Oh, that's because we don't want to say bye, Vale. But don't worry, we have another gift for them, right?
Well, now that I'm on the same page as you, yeah, that's right. Another late holiday gift for you fans will be that we'll be returning in just 2 weeks on February the 14th.
And guess what day that is, Vale?
I think it's a Wednesday, Travis.
Yeah, well, you're a smart one. Yes, it's a Wednesday, but it's also Valentine's Day, so let's see if we can put together a little special Valentine's Day treat for our loyal fans.
That sounds pretty good to me. We'll also be providing you with up-to-date stats, highlights, and once again, it'll be Chip Whipple, the C-Dub, putting another AU athlete under the Game Time spotlight.
Well, I can't wait. So fans, we thank you for joining us, and thanks to the whole crew for making the production a success. We'll be back in 2 weeks. See ya.
Good night.